Well, you ready, Linnea?
I sure am. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to October. It sure is beautiful right now. And although Arizona sounds wonderful, I'll take this 55-degree day anytime. But we'll visit like in a couple of months. Um, I'm just going to start off with a brief agenda, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jeff because I think we have some exciting VP news. So tonight, what we're going to cover is we have a new VP to vote on. We'll then go through our club updates. We have show and tell tonight with Bernard Hall and Ken. And again, with me, just to make it simple, alphabetical. Bernard, you'll go first and then Ken. The slideshow this month was Take Your Camera for a Walk, and the photos are amazing. More of a challenge was me doing the slideshow, but you'll see what that looks like. And then Jeff, I think we'll round out the show with a member image critique. And I believe Jeff said that he has 7 people. So I'm really excited to see those. That's the brief overview. Jeff, do you want to talk about the VP role?
Sure. Let me just switch this. God, I'm out of practice. Yes, we got a person that volunteered for VP. Elizabeth Whitcomb was good enough to volunteer. So thank you, Elizabeth, for volunteering. We
Yep.
just have to go
Hey,
through the motion.
Elizabeth volunteered if someone else is putting slideshows together because she does not know how to do that.
Well, we can always work that out.
Okay.
Like I said, we can always work everything out.
All right.
So, Linnea, you really need to just say we need a motion to approve Elizabeth Whitcomb as vice president of Menomonee Falls Camera Club. Or, yeah, we need ask for a motion for that.
Okay, this job is pretty easy, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
We need a motion to vote and approve Elizabeth Whitcomb to be the vice president of the Menomonee Falls Camera Club.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second, and then Jeff, that makes it official.
Can we
Take a
have some
vote.
discussion?
Sure.
Can we introduce Elizabeth?
Well, we could. Elizabeth, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I think a lot of us know you, but maybe there's a few that probably don't.
Most probably know me from Wacko because I've been around Wacko for many years now. As president and competition chair. Currently belong to Retzer Camera Club, but I'm trying to slowly work my way out of that one. I do go to wear on Saturdays if it's not good weather. Otherwise, I'm just taking off. So I kind of need a club that's not a weekend. So I've known Jeff and Ken especially for a really long time, and I really like the programs. So here I am.
Thank you.
So
Welcome.
Yes,
Yeah.
welcome.
take
Jeff,
a vote.
I'm sorry,
Linnea.
is that the final part of this the formal process?
Yeah, just you need to vote on it. Just
Okay.
have everybody vote.
Hands up, please, if you
Yeah.
agree with Elizabeth. I'm sorry. I am scrolling through and I see it is completely unanimous.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you,
Not
Elizabeth.
usually a problem, but
Especially when you're voluntold. I love it. Okay.
thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. It's nice to have you volunteer to do it, and we'll make the job easy. Don't worry.
I'm all about
See,
it. If you want to participate in stuff, you should help out too. So,
Yep.
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is, do some of the club updates. Grab a couple of you guys to fill me in on, or fill in all of us on the updates. But the first thing I want to say is in the September meeting, I felt like when it was 9 o'clock, I'm still in the corporate world. When our meeting goes to 9 o'clock, we end the meeting. That is it. So I felt like during September, it became 9 o'clock and probably mid-sentence, I'm saying, okay, meeting over. So I talked to Jeff about this. And even though officially we'll close the meeting at 9 o'clock, for whoever wants to hang around, feel free to. It's up to Jeff to how long he wants to stay and keep this line of communication open. So when I'm here, we will end at 9, but please stay as long as you want, as long as Jeff wants you, I guess I should say. So I just wanted to clarify that. I felt so rude afterwards.
No, sometimes there's one or two people I end up talking to about something, and so sometimes I keep the Zoom going a few minutes, and if somebody wants to talk, I talk with them. So never a
I
problem.
really appreciate it. Thank you,
And
Jeff.
sometimes it has nothing to do with camera club at all. So I mean,
Yeah.
it is more experience, especially since a number of us might be moving in the next year, closer to where he is actually. So we may form our own little club somewhere, or at least group. So there are certain questions we have to figure out about. Will they be built? Will we have roads to go on? Things like that. So we're thinking of moving to the same area he is. So, and I think Schulis are also.
Yep.
And I would like to ask, are there any new members tonight, maybe?
I don't know. I had somebody that I gave a link to, but I don't see them.
That would be me,
Oh, okay.
Adele Schaefer.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember who it is. With me moving, I
Yeah.
barely can remember my own name.
Sure. No, that's fine. I'm very interested in the organization, so it's great that you have a virtual meeting, and yeah, it looks like a great group. So
Great. Well,
I
welcome to the group.
saw her name on there, and I'm going, I don't recognize that from my list. So,
yeah,
Well, it's nice to have you, Paul.
infiltration or
Thank
new
you.
member. Welcome.
thank you.
That would be me as well, Brad Mossing. I've listened in on a few meetings and I'm looking into joining as well. I've been pretty busy and wished I could have attended the Zoom meeting last month, but was not able to. And it looks very interesting.
Great. Great. Well, welcome.
Welcome, Brad.
Thank you.
I give out Zoom links so often lately I can't remember who I've done last. I keep a list somewhere, but right now I couldn't tell you where that list is anymore. Never tear down your whole computer system and try to rebuild it in one day. So,
No.
and mine's a complicated system.
Well, I just wanted to jump right in. One of the things I noticed I absolutely love, hopefully everybody really enjoys and appreciates Ellen's newsletter. I think it's amazing. And every time I learn something, and in fact, I think it was Steve who contributed photos for the slideshow. And he let me know that I even missed the deadline for the slideshow. So, because I didn't read it as carefully as I should have, Ellen. So I just wanted to say, Ellen is much more proactive than I am. So when you're getting your photos ready to send for the monthly challenge, abide by Ellen's date, but I am great at procrastination. So even I looked at the slideshow presentation for October. If I could have your pictures, because I'd love the photos that I'm receiving, by like the Sunday before our meeting. So forget that date right there. And Ellen, you can put it on the calendar and then I can work them into a slideshow presentation, or I can try. Elizabeth, it can be done, but I can try it.
So the Sunday before the
Yes,
meeting.
I think it's like the 31st for October. I just saw it with the fall autumn colors, and that's what this next month is all about. And
Yeah.
it can be the
I
beautiful,
have you on the 20, yeah, I have you on the 25th, so that's
right, which
that's fine. I
sounds
need mine
really,
earlier.
yeah.
I'm gonna be in Mexico, so yeah, I'm gonna need everything a little earlier, but I'll send out not a warning, what do they, reminder. That's it, a reminder and a warning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And unless you're taking me, I'm here and I can work on the photos that weekend. So I just figured with Halloween, there might be some really cool fall colors with the season still coming in. So I'm really good with that. I talked to Brian Jensen.
All right.
So Brian, oh, I'm sorry. Any questions on that? Okay, so Brian Jensen is our host, and it's scheduled right now for Tuesday, October 8th. And that's the Modine Benstead Observatory. And he has asked, oops, I have his email here. He gave me some information in regards to it. He just said the plan will be for him to show the group the different types of astrophotography, which we will have on display at the observatory. I will explain what is needed for each type of astrophotography. I will demonstrate how to do the astrophotography through a telescope and the equipment needed. Then I will allow everyone to view the moon and Saturn through the telescope. Now, the one thing I asked him, it is listed for 7 o'clock, and I should have clarified. I believe he would probably like us there by 6:30, just so we can all be organized by 7. And out of curiosity, if the weather holds, I guess I would like to know, just for, courtesy of Brian, how many people to expect. So either if you know now and want to drop me an email or raise of hands, or ask me or Brian questions. But then that again is for next Tuesday, the 8th. Any questions on that? I can make up the answer in Brian's absence.
Somewhere we had a map to it. I should either ask him again or see if I can pull up Clint's email. He had a map and everything for it for last year, and I'll
Right.
see if I can dig that up for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can go, but I'm not sure.
Right.
I don't know, sometimes till the last minute.
And I think a lot of us are like that. But if you could even, the Monday before, so if the weather holds, if you could just let
Yeah.
myself or Brian know, or Jeff. Okay, upcoming events. Alan, your page 4, photographic interests of all the really cool things coming up in your newsletter was really neat. The one thing I'd like to extend to anybody in this group, we do have the Facebook page. If ever you are thinking, hey, I'm just going to go by myself, I want to go see China lights, put it out to the rest of us. Maybe a few of us can get together and make it a small impromptu field trip. But there's a lot of neat opportunities, and there's a lot more out there, waiting to be discovered by us. Dues, Pat, I'll let you talk about that one.
Okay, so far I got a little over 30 people that's already paid, which is pretty good. I'm just reminding people that haven't had a chance to get to it that we're collecting. We'd like to close this up by November 1st if we could. You could pay on the website, through the website, or you can download, there's a page to download with an address on it, and mail a check out if you don't want to use your credit card. So that's basically, just a reminder. Thank you.
Other upcoming dates, I just sent Patty a message today, and I got your response, Patty. So Patty works with, and I'm sorry, Patty, would you like to talk about the parade?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I work for the people that own the Hussar's House of Fine Diamonds in West Bend. And they are one of the sponsors of the West Bend Christmas Parade. And this year it's on Sunday, December 1st. In past years, for the past 2 years I know of, we've been invited up as a club to photograph the parade, and then submit our photos to the people that set up the parade website, and then they can use the photos, to promote West Bend and the parade and that sort of thing. And typically they send us, a little bit of money, for our participation. And so it kind of helps out, like paying for our website or different things that we have to pay for. And it's a really fun event. My feet got really cold last year. I'm going to get warmer boots this year. But it is really fun, and they want kind of a mix of photos, not just, the parade, participants, but also, shots of the people enjoying the parade and, the kids and, the scenery and decorations and stuff downtown, kind of a mix, just like you would see if you were looking at a travel brochure or something, and the kind of photos that they take and put in there. Anyway, it is fun, and everybody is invited up to participate. I haven't had a definitive word about it this year yet, but I'll check with Mike. He's had a lot going on, the last couple months, so this is probably not high up on his priority list this time of year, but I will check with him.
Cool.
So you don't have any time?
I think the parade starts, what was it last year, Linnea? Was it around
It is 5. I checked on the
5
website.
p.m.? Yeah, that's
is
what I
fine.
was thinking.
Yeah. It would be cool too. I know Patty and I went last year, if other people were interested, even meeting for coffee or something hot, before we go out, right downtown, because it's so pretty down there. Or maybe when we get really cold, Patty, that's when we should go for that coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on the parade? All right. The one thing I thought was fun is the kids are always like, am I going to be on the news? What news channel am I going to be on? So the kids are really, really involved with it. I just didn't know what to tell them, but we'll work on that for this year. Going from the parade, which is on the 1st, Brian, would you talk about our Christmas get together on the 3rd?
Sorry, I had myself unmuted. Thank you now. So our Christmas party is going to be Tuesday, December 3. So we're advertising a start time of 6 p.m. But the first thing we're going to do is the group photo. Jeff Klug has offered to do the photo this year. But if you want to be part of that photo, you need to be there at 6 p.m. We're using a shared space. We'll be doing that photograph in the gym, which they call the Trinity Center. So if you're looking for the gym, look for Trinity Center. So it's kind of on the west end of the building. But anyway, so the thing is, there's another group coming in at 6:30. So we need to be out of there. We need to be finishing up the photo around 6:15. So I think, Jeff, that ought to give you enough time. You'll be setting up before. So
Yep.
you'll be setting up about 1/4 till. And so we need to have everybody in there at 6 p.m. We'll take the photograph, and then we'll be moving out of there quickly, and then we'll start whatever else we're going to do. So there's going to be a judging for one PSA.
Yeah, the Wisconsin
PSA
print circuit.
Print circuit. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be socializing, and then we'll have our pizza party, which you folks will be taking care of. So that's pretty much it. That's the overview of it. So any questions?
We bring desserts like last year.
Whatever you guys want to do. I'm providing the space, and so it's up to you to organize it and do what you want to do, please. But that sounds good. I think we need to have drinks, and so
I think we had quite a few desserts to choose from last year, so a lot of people did bring something for after the pizza or before, whatever.
Yeah, drinks will be good too.
Does Elizabeth know she's buying the pizzas?
I do.
We're not telling her that yet.
I had to quick double check because I'm actually taking a week's vacation in December, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, but it's the next week.
Elizabeth, I do have last year's order, so I can
Okay, good.
send that to you. That was
Yeah.
the only duty I had to do last year, and I did it. It's pretty good. Pretty proud.
Elizabeth, the only
Yeah.
thing you have to make sure is that they will take a check.
Okay.
We
Right.
order from the same place. Hopefully that shouldn't change. So
Yeah, all right. Linnea, I'll reach out to you.
Okay, sounds good.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it promises to be a good time. It's a good space, and we had a real good time there last year, and looking forward to it this year too. So
Jeff, does anything need to be said about the judging that'll take place that night, or?
No, there's not too much to it. We just have score sheets that we'll hand out, and there'll probably be. Usually, there's around 90 prints, and then you just walk around and score each print. We'll get them spread out on different tables there, and yeah, everybody just goes through and scores them and hands the sheet in to us, and we send the sheet in to Mary Dumont. For anybody that wants to enter, I think you still have a couple days left to enter either both a black and white and a color print up to 8 by 12 inches in size, and down to 8.5 by 8.5. But it would have to be in, I think it's October 5th
Saturday.
Yeah.
I know I'm mailing Retzers on tomorrow to get them there.
Yeah. So you still got a couple days if you want to enter. So please enter. It's an interesting contest. It gets judged by quite a few different camera clubs across the state. So if you want to see what your images are like or compared to other people, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And not that expensive to do.
And I guess for Brad and Adele's benefit, if like where these pictures are coming from or what club is doing that is a mystery to you, I would default to ask Jeff. So send him an email and he can explain
Yeah.
everything, just so you can take advantage and participate in the next few days. Because I still need to default to Jeff on everything. Brian, I'm just gonna hit you up because I have you on the list again. Has there been a date decision? I saw in the newsletter, the tabletop close-up workshop at Holy Cross Lutheran Church might have been, or might be February 12th or April 12th. Has that been further discussed?
no, I proposed that we talked about doing it, and I proposed that Holy Cross could be the place.
Okay.
But that's all we have. We don't have anybody who's volunteered to organize it. So it's a tentative place. I haven't reserved anything, but I think we need to know what it is we want to do, what kind of space we want. I'm willing to arrange it with Holy Cross. But I think it's a question of what do we want to do and what space do we want? Do we want the gathering area to do it there? Do we want someplace else? So it was just kind of a starter in terms of, as a group during our executive planning meeting, we said, well, that'd be different. Sounds like fun. And again, I proposed the place, but then somebody has to take the lead in terms of organizing it and what we're going to do and what the requirements are for the space.
Yeah. We'll have to discuss that a little bit. Do we have enough interest that if we hold it on, we're talking holding it on a Saturday, right? Was that what we were doing? I can't remember that far back anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we don't want it to be a camera club meeting night.
Yeah, it wasn't on the meeting night. It was going to be a Saturday morning. Are there enough people interested? Right now we got 29 people here. How many people might be interested in a tabletop photo shoot? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Dry ice. Dry ice is the way to go with these. It's so cool. Meyer sells dry ice.
Oh, that would be
This would
interesting.
tie- And
It's
I'm sorry
awesome.
to interrupt, but this would tie in with our all member show, correct? I mean, because our all member show for the end of the year would be close-ups. So
Yeah,
this could not be a
yeah.
great workshop to try and get us all smart on what to do.
yeah. I have a bunch of props. I don't know how much I'm going to have left by the time we get to January, because I'm getting rid of a lot of the props that I used to keep because I don't have the storage unless I buy myself a storage locker, which is starting to look like a thing I'm going to need to do.
Well, in the
But-
past, we've asked members, we have done this back at the rec center.
Yeah,
And
I
people
brought,
just brought flowers or
yeah,
trinkets, coins, little things that would lend themselves to prevent. To be
little
the-
fabric
to
backgrounds,
photograph.
that sort of thing. So there was, there never was there was always something to shoot.
Yeah.
There were a lot of props, and it just depended upon how many stations we had set up and so on. So that is not going to be a problem. So once it gets closer and once we've decided, but that's February and or April, right? So we have a little bit of time.
well, I thought we were doing it at the beginning of January. Wasn't that the date? Or am I wrong?
What did
Give
My
me a-
answers all come from the newsletter.
I will let you know a little bit later. Let me look through my papers.
I can't tell you because I sort of misplaced half of my paperwork that I had. It's in my computer somewhere. In the other computer.
I will let you know by the end
Yeah.
of the meeting what dates were on there. So yeah, I've
So
been
we
purging
can.
here as well. So
It looks like we have
Unbelievable.
enough people interested, so we'll work on it and
So
get it
who,
set up.
who,
Yeah.
who do we want to be on the work on it team?
I'll work on it.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Maybe we can just form like a little committee or something that can work together to pull it together.
yeah, I
Okay.
have
So if we got Patty,
no
we got
problem working.
Linnea, we got Jeff, we got Brian. That's
I'll do
probably
it, yeah, me.
enough.
Brian, you can put Elizabeth down.
Hmm?
We do this all the time for where?
Yeah,
Okay.
put Elizabeth down on there then.
Okay.
I'll
We got
take
that
anybody
far.
that's done this, and especially somebody that comes up with, let's do dry ice. I like that idea.
Your little martini glass with some water with food coloring and then drop the dry ice in there. It's very cool.
Well, I do have fog machines and hazers and lights for bands, so we could, go all out.
A little soda and dropping some fruit in there.
Jeez. Does
Yeah.
it,
We could
does the
probably
church let us bring wine, Brian?
I don't think that's, I don't think you
No,
want to do that for
then we'd
respect
have to
the
start
place.
charging admission.
I could bring some tarantulas.
Yeah.
I don't know about
like
that
those.
one.
Ooh, then I'm definitely going.
So do you think, well, Jeff hasn't been there, but Patty, you were there. So do you think the round tables and the gathering space would be sufficient? Spread the things out there and who was,
Yeah, as
Yeah,
long as you have multiple tables, that's what we need.
Yeah,
okay,
Be a
And
great-
that's not a problem because the tables that were set up for the Christmas were more than adequate probably to put at least, possibly two. Well, you don't want to get other photographers in there, but yeah, they will hold multiple little focal areas, so to
Yeah.
speak.
and there's way more space than we had at the community center. And we used to do this
Yes.
there every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, it
Okay.
looks like we're gonna put something together. Brian, thank you. I love the idea, just because I need help. I mean, it's a great idea anyways. Is there anything else like field trip wise that has been talked about that is in the planning stages, or basically is that enough for tonight?
Well, I don't have a field trip, but I do have, we do have World War One reenactment coming up this Saturday at Old Falls Village Park. Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 4 on Sunday with live reenactments at 2 p.m., I think both days. So if you want to see World War One reenacted.
There were two reenactments. My suggestion is to go to the website because I had to talk with, I think her name was Nancy or something. I found some discrepancies in dates and in times, and I got the closest ones once I talked to her, but I don't know if she, and then when I went back to check on another one, the page was missing. So I was wondering if maybe she was
Well,
updating
I
it.
can tell you that it's coming up this weekend, October 4th and 5th at Old Falls
Okay.
Village Park between 10 o'clock and 5. Because I'm
Yeah.
working there that
I'm
day.
talking-
So I'm
Okay.
100%
But the little-
sure World War One is this weekend. Now, we do
Okay.
have Oktoberfest coming up on October, I believe it's 11th and 12th, but that's really not on the website yet, or not that fully on the website. And if you've got kids, we got a Halloween thing coming up near the end of October where it's a spooky walk through the woods at Old Falls Village Park.
13 and older, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's towards the end. But I also know the timing for the World War One. Apparently, I think on Saturday the enactment stopped, but then the beer garden opens. So
Right,
that's
the
what
beer
she's
garden
going to
opens
do.
at 4 o'clock. So
So
Yeah.
Ellen has a link for the World War One thing. I opened that up and that gives you schedules and everything in there. So just
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
for Ellen's link in the
Oh.
newsletter.
So I just try to push it. It should be an interesting day. You can get pretty close to the reenactment stuff. And then there'll be people in the park that you can talk to and get close-up photos of if you want. So, plus we have good beer,
Yes.
food by Art Lounge. So we're trying to promote Art Lounge. They need all the promotion they can get. So.
And I'm sure any photos at this time, Jeff, will have beautiful fall autumn colors that can be submitted then for the
We might have.
next
It's-
show.
I don't know. With all the drought out by me, there's not much color at all,
Mm,
Yeah, do some
unfortunately.
background swapping on that one.
Yeah, Photoshop, okay.
Yeah.
Well then, good.
Roger, you
Oh,
have
wow.
some. Roger has his hand raised, so
You're on the other screen. Go ahead, Roger.
Sorry, I was just picking through some stuff and accidentally picked on the hand.
oh, okay.
Well, it works.
Yeah, it works.
PSA news.
PSA, they have their next one coming up middle of November, I believe. I don't have much information on it yet, and I should have because I'm writing the newsletter. Just a second.
So it's Sunday, November 17th, and the speaker is on storm photography from our news.
Oh, that's Mike Mazul.
Mike
Okay,
Mazul
thanks,
again.
Brian.
Thank you, Ellen.
So yeah, with everything going on, I can't find half of my stuff yet, and I've got to start working on that next newsletter, which is going to be interesting.
And I found the information, Jeff, the tabletop close-up workshop. My notes say Tuesday or Saturday, February 15th or Saturday, April 12th. Those were the choices that we could possibly do. And I'm thinking, Brian, you said those dates were available for us,
No, I have
but
not said
haven't
that.
committed.
I said we need to figure
Okay.
out what we want to do, and then I'll find the space for it. So I think I
Okay,
can go ahead.
okay.
So I think
All right,
probably Saturday morning is going to be tough to get the the gathering space because there's so many things going on. But I'll find some other rooms. I may find 2 or 3 classrooms, close together, and we can do that there, and that'll be just fine.
Sure, we can
I
figure
think
that
Right.
out.
we were talking about February as a starting one, and then in case if it snows, then we have a backup date. I think that's what
Yeah,
we were talking about.
probably.
But I think
Probably.
let's shoot for the February date. It gives us something to try to do in winter.
And
Yeah.
if that doesn't work out, we can do the April
Yep,
theoretically. Okay.
sounds good.
Wacko, any competition updates?
Well, the competition uploader is open until October 13th. Which should be a Sunday night. We have portraits is the open theme, and it has to be human portraits. And nature is Ken, help me.
Birds.
Birds. See, I knew if I call on Ken, he's all for the birds, so he'd know. So birds for nature, special category. So no hand of man on the birds. It's got to be out in the open or out in nature, and watch out for your backgrounds to make sure that no hand of man is in there. If you're need more information, you can get a hold of me or Ken or Elizabeth. All 3 of us are on the competition. Elizabeth runs that committee, and Ken and I just follow her lead.
Yeah.
I tried to keep a straight face. I'm sorry. But yeah, the uploader closes October 13th, so get your images in. It's a good time this fall. That's why we sort of do this critique early, so that if you want to see how your images might do, it gives you a rough idea here. But it's a good competition to enter. It's $4 for each section, 3 images per section, and we have all sorts of different sections to enter. I'm not going to list all 8 of them because that's just gets too redundant. Check out the Wacko website, wicameraclubs.org, and look under the competition section. You can find all the information there and how to get a hold of me or Ken. So
There's also that video on there that explains the
that's right.
definitions.
Yeah, Jim Karofsky created a really good video that explains the definitions of all our different sections. So watch that. It's on the competition page before you go to the uploader. It's a short video, 6-7 minutes long, but it gives a nice definition of, it shows a lot of pictures in that, so you know what's allowed and not allowed. And I think that's it for Wacko. Digital Forum, I have Mike Motes coming in October if you're interested in close-up photography. Mike is gonna talk about something on close-up work. I'm still getting the final thoughts. I think it's the 4 seasons of close-up. Something like that. We're trying to get in a little different. If you missed our last speaker that we had on Saturday, he was a very good still life photographer, had really good tips about lighting on that would apply to almost anything. I will be getting that video up. I had to twist his arm to let us have the video up for a month. I'm going to get it up hopefully in the next week. Watch it if you didn't see it, because I think it's been one of our best speakers that we've had on still life photography, and more to the point, lighting and a little bit of composition. So,
Jeff, if we're not members of Digital Forum, is that something that we can view?
yep, anybody can view it. It's free for the world.
Okay, and
Just
the
go
website?
to
Yeah.
go to the WACO website under Digital Forum, and you'll see all our videos are listed right there. Quite a few of them too, if you want to just go, except for this one, won't be on YouTube. We have most of them are on our YouTube site for WACO as well. So if you want to see them, just look up WACO for YouTube, and you'll find most of our videos there as well.
So Jeff, our camera club is a member of WACO.
Yeah, our camera club is a member of WACO, so anybody, and for Digital Forum, I let that open to anybody that's interested in coming. Just have to ask me if you're not a member of it, or not even, it's not even membership. If you don't have the link for it, just send me an email and I'll give you a link for the Digital Forum. You'll get a notice every fourth Saturday of the month at 10 o'clock for our next speaker.
Thank you. We will be going then into the show and tell, unless is there any other updates or anything else that somebody wants to share?
We probably should get going. We're running late.
Okay, well then, Bernard, that was your cue into getting ready to share your show and tell, please.
Okay. Okay, on last weekend was Doors Open, and so I went on some of them, and I concentrated mostly on churches because I thought that, or my intent was to see that all of the churches would be full of art that would make good photographs. And it was kind of a learning experience because some are and some aren't. So on the outside, some things that are characteristics are the spires going up. A lot of these pictures I didn't do, say, a lot of retouching. They're mostly out of the camera, so they do have the lean in on a lot of these. Yeah, this one I kind of widened to fill up the slide, so that's kind of stretched a little bit. Then on the inside, there's a lot of stained glass windows that, of course, will work best if the thing is backlit. Somewhat close up. Some are in ceilings, a lot are on the walls. This is the St. Joseph Vats Basilica. On some of these, I took a tip so that flash wouldn't be good because of the distance. So I just used, I didn't use a tripod or a monopod, but so I was using like a 60th of a second shutter speed, but I upped the ISO up to 1600 and got some. This particular church here was kind of a surprise because it didn't have a lot of decorations of what I was expecting. It doesn't even have pews in it, but it is still an active church. Let's get to some of the older Catholic and Lutheran churches. A lot of them have a lot of ornate altars and side altars. This is one of the older, I think it was a Greek Orthodox church. this is the choir towards the back of the church. This is an older church. The newer ones seem to be less ornate. This here is more of the basilica. But I don't remember where that one was. Then there's a lot of statuaries, and some of them are kind of freaky. Some are kind of dark, some are light, marble. Some try to get lifelike. Some have more than one person. This one is from outside. That's another outside statue. Some of the statues inside have like Jesus coming out. And here he's like, "Hi everybody, glad to see you." And then here he's be like Jesus saying, "Well, I'm watching you." There's a lot of variety of artwork in the churches around the cities, and that's a real brief selection of them. So that's what I have.
Wow. Those churches are beautiful. Thank you.
There's stuff, sure.
Ken, are you ready?
Yes, I am. What I'm going to show you is a variety of birds in a variety of locations. So I'm not sticking to one bird or one location like I did with Bon Falls. So this is just a video. There's no music to it. You can just watch. A lot of times when I go to Florida, I like to go in March and April when the breeding plumage is there. And it really makes the birds at their peak colors.
And that was really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy the birds.
Quick question, are the majority of your pictures, are you all on land and is it your lens?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Are you on land for all of those shots?
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm gonna go into the members, take a walk with your camera slide presentation. But keep in mind, I am a work in progress. And the first thing that I have on my screen is my apology page. Joe, I saw you on here. In the video, I have your name spelled wrong. So this is showing you I do know how to spell it correctly, but I just could not edit my video. So it was driving me crazy. I just wanted to let you know. So just as we have the band, there's two software programs that I use all the time. Oops, let me turn this over. Actually, I'm sorry, I have the wrong screen there. I even practiced this. How do I switch the screen, Jeff? It's on my other.
You might have to stop sharing, or you could, and then go and make sure you
pop
pick.
right up.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Anyways, this is Cyberlink. I use Cyberlink for my videos, which I'm not good at it, but this is the first time I'm doing a slideshow presentation. When you see it, a lot of the transitions are kind of whatever, but this is my first time. So work with me this year and we'll see what we can do. It's working out?
Do you have music with it?
Yes.
Okay,
Is it moving?
I'm not hearing the music, so.
Are you seeing the slideshow?
Yeah, we're seeing the slideshow. What it could be is if you need to check a box in the screen share to share sound, and you might have forgotten that.
No, I just didn't know that, Jeff. Again, you got to work with me here.
I know. You can stop and start it
Okay,
over.
thank you, because it is so much better with the music, let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, guys.
So just stop the screen share, and then when you click share screen, there should be a box.
I'll be really good next time. Okay, share screen, I see it there.
And then there
Oh,
should be
share
music.
sound. How
Yeah.
easy is that? Okay.
I'm taking notes.
There we go.
All right, thank you. And there you have it.
Thumbs up.
And Joe, or Jeff, that'll take us to the member critique.
Okay. Now let's see if I can do it.
I'm here to help you if you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Just got to rearrange things on my screen. Let's see. It's got to be that. Okay, so you should be seeing my Lightroom. Here is the first image that we have we just have a few, 16 images, so we'll go through and make some suggestions. And if anybody has suggestions, sort of shout them out. This one looks pretty interesting. The face is a little dark, so I would probably either try to just get it in the highlights, or probably the simpler way would be to go into masking, select the subject, and hope that it picks the bird, which it did. And then you could brighten them without blowing out the highlights. Yeah, and it looks
I would have
like,
just used a brush, Jeff, and just painted
yeah,
the
that's,
brush on
I'm
the
just
head.
thinking to myself that that's going to be the better way. So let's delete that mask and just go to the brush. And if we check auto mask, which I've got on, then we can just sort of paint, and I'll clean that up in a little bit, just down to about here. And then if you hold the Option key, that gets you your minus brush. And my fingers are slipping tonight. Get the areas you don't want, and then, of course, the area you do want. Now we should be able to just brighten that guy up a little bit. Don't want to go too far because then it won't look natural, but at least that way it's lightening up the bird's face. What does everybody think? Any other suggestions? I'm not real thrilled with this tree sticking out here. I don't know if cropping it might. And it looks like it's already been cropped quite a bit, so I can see.
I'd crop in at least to get rid of that blue thing in the water up above.
Yeah. I like the reflection. I almost think, yeah. You could go there. That's not quite as, with that tree, not quite so bad.
I think the bird stands out a whole lot more without the tree, so that makes a difference. What is
Yeah.
that? Is that a twig behind the bird also, that light area? That's not his feet or anything, is it? No. That's just
No. If you weren't going to enter this in nature, you could get rid of this stick. And you could, oh, okay, well, let's see what generative AI. Oh yeah, generative AI just put something there that you don't want. So that helps getting rid of the stick, but you might also look at just taking this, and this would only be as if you weren't entering it in nature. You could, let's see if generative AI would do it. Yeah, generative AI doesn't always work quite right. That's not even doing a good
Jeff, can I just
job.
make one quick suggestion? If you
Sure.
ever try to get rid of a tree branch like you're doing there, generative AI looks at your whole original picture, even though it's cropped. So
Yeah.
it sees the tree branch in the parts you don't see, and it thinks it should put more tree branch in. So you almost have to uncrop it and then take the tree branch out, and then you can recrop it.
Yeah. Trouble is, it's such a big tree to get rid of. It probably just easier to do something like this, if I could find enough. Right. Well, what if we did a clone? Now there, that probably works. Let's take a look. That works. So sometimes using the old tools work the best. The generative AI I'm finding works so. Yeah, Jim's right in that it's looking at the whole image. They've got a ways to go. I usually, if I'm going to do anything important, I go to Photoshop because it works better in there yet. But this would work as long as you weren't entering it again in nature. You could enter it in open because of the two things that we did. But I don't think there's really too much more. You could bring texture up a little bit and a little bit in clarity. Vibrance is already up pretty good. So on the whole, this really isn't too bad of a shot. I might crop just a little more of the bottom off. I don't like that little bit of rock that's showing in. So that's not bad, no?
Yeah. Jeff, as far as the future of entering photos, do you see if AI is going to change things, or how difficult is it going to be to hold on to as close to the original with all the different tools that are now available? Or do you think some modifications are going to be coming along in the next couple of
that's a long discussion that we've had at various levels in WACO and in different groups. I believe that it should be allowed in a lot of it. In nature photos, it's not probably ever going to be allowed. In photojournalism photos, it won't be allowed. But it's getting to the point that it's hard to know when it's been done and when it hasn't been done. So you're trusting on the integrity of the photographer. I think when you do some of the stuff like we did here, where it doesn't change the basic photo, it's fine. I use it all the time for expanding photos and getting rid of certain objects, and sometimes adding things that weren't there, but I'm using it for probably a publicity photo where I need to add something. And the Renaissance Fair, half the photos in the booklet that we handed out were completely AI generated. I just said, draw me a photo of a Renaissance Fair person dressed as a juggler, and it gave me a juggler, and I just took those photos and put it in my brochure. Didn't matter because we didn't have any shots from our fair, so we figured, and I didn't want to steal from Renaissance Fair because that gets me into trouble, so I just generated them. So there are good times to use it and bad. It's going to be an argument that will go on forever and ever, because if you look at Ansel Adams, he added things and did all sorts of things in the darkroom that most normal people couldn't do. So if you go by that
Right.
rule,
Couldn't-
it's been
yeah.
allowed for around for a long time.
Jeff, can I
So-
just make a quick comment? When,
Sure.
at least for Wacko competition information, when you got rid of the stick on the left side of the duck, you use the AI tool. That would not be under the current rules of Wacko. That would not be acceptable. But when you change the rock by using the clone tool, that is acceptable. So it is getting more complicated now because the tools themselves don't necessarily tell you exactly what they're doing. But when you go into the AI tool, that's still currently for Wacko not acceptable.
Oh, okay. Then I better not enter any of my photos because I've used it all the time and I don't know when I've used it. So guess I won't be entering. That's the trouble with these rules is I think it stops a lot of photographers who are in doubt of what's right and what's allowed and what isn't allowed. It's getting very blurred, but
Well,
Yep.
maybe instead of behind the bird, that stick, maybe the possibility was to take a burn tool and diminish the lightness of
well,
it so that
you could if we did this.
Or you could have used the clone tool right there,
Yeah.
same thing, and that would
Oh.
work.
So that does the
Okay.
same thing. And actually, sometimes it can do a better job. So, generative AI can be used at times, but not in Wacko at this time. Probably
Okay.
soon, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Any other suggestions on this one before I move on?
I would just maybe warm it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
In fact, maybe doing a background and warming up the background so the background has a slightly different color tone to it, and that might make the duck stand out a little bit better.
Okay. So if we pick, where am I here? Create a new mask. Select background. Okay, so that one didn't do a great job with the mask, so we gotta add, come on. Why am I not getting all my stuff here? There we go. Subtract using the brush to get the head out. Everything else looks like it got it. So then we could warm up the background. And then we can leave the goose, swan, I don't know.
One.
There, something like that. It warms up the rocks in the water a little bit and keeps the swan nice and white. Okay. All right, let's move on. Here we got a nice little deer or fawn. I would probably say that cropping in to get rid of this tree would probably help. And I don't know if it's me, but it looks like he's a little crooked. I would probably come in like that. And then bring out to, because he's got a little bit in the shadow. His side facing us is a little bit in the shadow, so I would open up the shadow area. Now, sometimes to make it stand out, just like we did with warming up the background. Here, it did a nice job of picking up the background. I would actually, no, not quite that much, just darken it about a half a stop so that the animal shows up a little better. And then you can duplicate and invert and then brighten up the fawn just a bit, not much. And then while you're in there, because I wouldn't want to do it to the background, is I would add texture to bring the fur out, and even a little clarity, which will bring out the fur a little bit more. And then you could also go back to your background yeah, this one. And you could actually go minus on the clarity.
What does the lens blur part do?
Yeah, and that was going to be my next
Oh,
suggestion.
can you get
is
that on?
And Jeff, the whole thing just looks kind of blue, so maybe it's a white balance issue. Maybe you
Yeah,
should try just changing the white balance to something.
right. Well, I'm on the background. I think the deer looks okay, but the background looked a little, yeah.
I
So
think
now
the
you,
histogram is also giving you a good clue that there's not enough brightness in this photo. Everything
yeah,
is down on the bottom half of that, and you don't really have any real whites at all. So you need to bring up either the overall exposure a little bit or the whites up, and then decide whether or not you need to clean up the blacks.
there we go. Yeah, if you bring the whites up, it brings up the background a little bit more. But the deer seems to be okay. Now we're spreading out the histogram better. But Elizabeth's idea too of going down to the lens blur. Come on, think it over. All right, so the easiest way to use this is to click on Visualize Depth so you can see the lighter colors are what would be in focus, and then as you get to the darker colors, it goes out of focus. And you can actually, by grabbing onto these handles, adjust where it is. So the white area would be in focus and the dark areas would be out of focus. And you can play around with it a little bit. If you want, you can actually even, using a brush adjustment, come on. And if you want it in focus, now you could paint in the area you'd like in focus more. Yeah, we'll try to do it. Although it's going
a
to
lot
be,
of trouble with that.
yeah, some days it works better than others. And usually it's when it's sort of iffy in it. But then now you can adjust how much blur, and you can see that you don't want the front to be, or all this to be blurred. You need some of it sharp, otherwise it's not going to look natural. But now it isolates the deer a little bit more. You can play with the different types of blur, although that on this kind of shot isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. And just don't go overboard. I do for flowers, but for animals and that, you can do part way. And you can actually adjust this box to shift as you shift, if I keep going, you can actually throw the deer out of focus and the background sharper. So you can control it pretty well here. It's really a nice tool for isolating an animal, or actually what it ends up getting you is shooting as if you shot wide open at a 2.8 or 1.4. Just got to watch that you don't get any halos, and that's, I mean, that it doesn't get too funky around in like this area, blended area here. But it actually is looking pretty decent. Any other, I might probably throw a vignette on it just to sort of darken the corners. Not much, just a little bit. But now you've got pretty decent shot.
Can you hit your backslash key so we can see before?
Oh, sure. There's the original. There's the finished product. Quite a difference. Okay, moving on. Oh, we got a good race car. Nice blur in the panning. Car is nice and sharp. Yeah, really good job. Just trying to think. The back end of the car is a little dark. I would maybe try to open up the shadow area a little bit more. Let's see, his histogram looks pretty good. A lot of times I will bring the shadows up so that I can get, I like seeing the wheels, the rims and that back in here. So with opening up the shadows, I wouldn't want to adjust the exposure much, because then you blow out the nose of the car and everything else. It's maybe just a tint, but it's really close. I do like to add a little bit of texture and clarity. It always sharpens up the car.
Maybe lose that little bit of pavement there in the foreground, so it'll be all grass across the bottom.
Yeah, that probably would help. You just cropped it up like this. Actually, I know I get a lot of comments from people. Sometimes it almost works even better if you just do this to focus on the car. Now makes it almost like a panel, but it gets rid of everybody. When I've talked to judges, the judges don't like this stuff back here. And if you bring it down like this, and boy, you got it nice and level. You're better than I am when I try to do it.
Jeff, you just brought up something that really does have my curiosity. I'm a slave to making sure that it's proportional, to how it was shot, or a 4:6. Do you always do random, or not random, but what works for the subject?
I don't care what I crop it at.
Okay.
I've never let myself get tied to that. I gotta admit, if I crop nowadays, if I can get it to fit, I actually use 16:9 because that's what most of the video screens are and TV sets. And I actually have a video picture frame at home that's 16:9. And so I will crop a lot to that to have it fit something. If I'm not getting it to fit to any size that I care about, then I just go to a custom crop and I don't pay any attention to the standard sizes. So if I showed most of my race car pictures, they're all sorts of different sizes. And it's the only time I think about proportional sizes is if I want to print it on a specific size piece of paper.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Very freeing.
yeah, I've never really worried about it. When we do competition, since it's being projected, it's going to show up like this now, and you've got everything, just the way you've gotten rid of all the distracting parts of it. Now you could go one step further. It doesn't really need it because the panning was done pretty well, but you could, if you wanted to, do the lens blur again. And let's see if we tighten that up a little bit. And again, I wouldn't do overly amount of blur, but you could, if you wanted to add a little more blur to it. See, now you're getting the words, behind the car a little more blurred out.
Well, Jeff, how would the blur work to blur out the spectators to make that more acceptable?
Yeah, you could. Let's see once. So let's bring them back. And let's get back down there. So then you could go more, and that does, make it a little less noticeable. You still get these bright spots that your eye can be drawn to, especially up here and here and here. But you could even, spot those out just with the clone tool.
That really stands out a lot more now.
Yeah, if you crop it down under the umbrellas a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, and
that
to
would be
me,
better
that-
because the top of the wall is like
there.
it's like having the horizon line right in the middle.
Right.
I agree with Patty. It seems as if it was two separate pictures that are almost put together with that really, whatever the top of the posters are, separating it.
Yeah, that red car though, that's really grabbing my eye.
Yeah.
Change the color of the red car.
You could, I have done where I've gone in with a brush and the mask, and sure, it's right on top of my the car, but you could paint out the car and then just drop the exposure of the car so it's at least darker. You could probably.
And desaturate the red.
Yeah, or just even change the color of the car.
Or go back to the original when you didn't have that top blurred.
Let's see. And then drop it down so it's not quite so saturated. So that, that would be one way too to make it a little less noticeable. Personally, I've gotten to the point where I like it about here. But everybody has their own taste on how they might want to do it. The other thing that you can do is, but this is completely cheating, would be to take this, go into Photoshop this way, and then expand the top and the bottom to fill in what you want to fit a standard size if you needed to. But again, that's not allowed in competition. But if I was using it for my personal stuff, I would still do that. So that's where I end up using AI. But Jim, this is a nice shot. I mean, you got the car tack sharp.
Thank you. My biggest problem is with the cropping, but I like the free crop like this. I think that's the right answer.
Yeah. I get a lot of people that have told me that's the best way to do it. So here's the before and after with just the adjustments. You can see there's not a whole lot that we did to it. But, opening up the shadows certainly makes a difference too, especially in the back end of the car. But
Yep.
yeah.
Good.
Can I make
Nice
just one
job.
other suggestion for you, Jeff, and see if
Sure.
this would work? I don't know if
Sure.
it would. I would take a radio filter and I would make it right over the brightest part of the hood of the car. So I would extend it a little bit out and I would bring that brightness down. Then I would try to take the entire subject area of the car and bring it up in brightness. So then you'll be able to bring everything up. Then you'll just have to check for the blacks to be sure that you've kept blacks in line. But I would do
Yeah.
that radial over the hood first, bring that down a little bit. That'll kind of match the rest of the car because that's the hottest part of the car right now.
Yeah, it is. So you would do it something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I'd move it up just a pinch from where you are. And I would use it at this point. I would try exposure first, but if that doesn't work, you could do highlights and exposure.
Yeah, I
That's
could
too
see,
much.
yeah,
Now
if you
now it's getting muddy. That's too much.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that. So maybe try highlights a little bit and see if you can get just a touch out. And now see if you can go to the car and we'll brighten it back up again, but we'll do it by doing the whole car at this point. So you would do
Oh.
subject and see if that works. If that doesn't, by the way, one of the things I use a lot now is the object selection. And that usually can do a great deal. But yeah, this might even work just for something quick right now. Now bring it back up, and that'll bring everything more in line with the other parts of the car.
Yeah, okay.
If for some reason the blacks, let's say you had to move this further, you would then take the blacks down a little bit to realign them to be true black, and that wouldn't affect the other colors of that car, and then that would work great. But I think now you're getting it a little bit easier to see the whole car.
Yeah. No, that's a good tip. I like that.
Yeah. One little tip that I learned watching Kelby One videos is anytime you've got a subject that's got any kind of print, numbers and letters and stuff, whether it's a football uniform or, a car, take your brush and sharpen it and then just go over any place where there's text on there, and that'll sharpen up that text and make it look really crisp.
Okay.
And just one other thing that I don't know if in this case it doesn't make a great deal of difference, but many times in the foreground part of the picture, if you take a gradient filter, or sorry, a linear filter, move it up and just darken it a little bit, that would make that front part in front of the car a little less bright. And no one will ever know that you did it if you did it just a little bit, but it would then really focus your eye right to the car.
So you're talking to a linear gradient
Correct.
and
From the bottom up, just below the car.
oh, okay, from the bottom up. Oops, I'm gonna have to dump that one. Delete mask. So linear gradient, just from the bottom you're talking about?
Correct. Just from the bottom up to the bottom of the car. And that's kind of a soft version of it, but it'll still work. If you just now take the overall brightness, so we just go right to the exposure and bring it down just the slightest little bit, and that'll give us a chance to bring that brightness down a little bit. And all of a sudden now your eye will go more to that car. In fact,
Sure.
now you probably could even brighten up the entire picture a tad now to really make that car pop. But again, you're going to have to watch the yellows on the hood of that car.
Yeah.
But again, you could always go back to your the gradient that you put in before, that radial gradient, you can always bring
Right.
that down just the slightest hair, and then that will bring that all back into alignment again.
Sure. So that certainly, those are all great tips. See, we all do things a little differently, but yeah, that's certainly, before and there's after.
Yeah, you might have to lower your white a little bit because it's blowing out the highlights on the white areas.
Yeah. A bit of blue. There, that helps a little bit.
Bring the highlights down just a little more.
Almost need to go in because, like, let's see, that was this mask. Just bring that one down. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, that's pretty much. Those are all great tips, though, on just darkening sections of it. Just got to watch, yeah, if you go a little too far, you can see how the top of the hood starts to get. I mean, I suppose the person could, yeah, even just.
But just remember, you can brighten that more now, because if you look at your histogram, you really don't have anything of true whites anyway, for the
Right.
most part. So you could now overall brighten up this photo. As long as that hood was darker, now it will come up to normal brightness.
Yeah, something like that would probably be good. The asphalt looks decent. Getting a little bit maybe in here, I don't know. But yeah, no, good tips. So before and after. I like the wheels because that's sort of the important part, especially if you don't see the face. The wheels spinning is always good. Great. Now, if we keep doing this, we're going to be here all night, I guess. But now, this one, I don't think I need to do anything with. This is a really nice shot of that jet. I can see I got the highlights or shadow area warning showing up. I don't know if we can.
Yeah, just bring up the black only a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see what it looks like without. If I turn those off. Actually, I would. Maybe I would bring it up just a bit. Not much. I don't think you need to do it too much, and you could maybe bring the highlights down just a teensy bit, but it's a pretty good shot. I like how the haze sort of lightens out all around, and the jet looks good. Nothing's blown out.
Yeah. What if you add just a tiny bit of clarity? What would that do to it?
Yeah, that right. Yeah, because you're getting good depth in the blacks in here, so that's nice. The whites aren't blowing out, even in this area. I think, all in all, that's a pretty good shot.
Little dark cloud area above the wing on our left, that could go because it's kind of distracting.
That,
But isn't that the back of
rudder.
the plane?
That's the rudder, isn't
I
it?
think that's the rudder of the plane.
I thought the same thing at first.
Yeah.
Who needs a rudder?
Yeah, we could make it go away, but I like the shot. I think it's a good shot. Just just watch your highlights and shadows. You got good shadow depth in here, and underneath the wings, you still have good detail. So there isn't much that I'd be doing with this. I mean, you could see just a little bit, opening up the shadows a little bit more and dropping the highlights just a tad. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good shot. All right, this one here. Well, to be honest, I don't see much I'd do to it.
That looks good.
It looks good to me all the way around. If anything, you could bring up the blacks, or actually open up the shadows just a tad more, but not much. And maybe just drop the highlights. The shadows are a little blown out. You can see where the blue pops up there. That's black with no detail, but I don't know. That's just being super picky on it. It looks sharp. Not that I can zoom in much for the size files we work with, but I mean, the cropping looks good. Color, it's nice color. If you would want to, the lens blur would be one that you could, blur the background a little bit more. Let's see what it picked. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So that if we do that, I mean, you could, turn that up pretty far and, just blur the background a little bit more.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I mean,
I'm kind of wondering about the grayish color in the wings there.
well, I was wondering that too, but it looks like I mean, you got this white here, and these are grayer. It looks like it's natural to the bird, but
I don't think so.
Mm-mm. Can you hit your backslash key?
oh, I don't want it to be. I hit my wrong button. See, it's gray no matter from the way it started. And look at the color of the feathers compared to the body. It's definitely a darker color feather. Especially you look at, right underneath in here where it's white, that's definitely a darker feather shade.
The feathers are lacking detail though. That's what kind of surprises me. Getting close and it's blurry.
Did I didn't do that in here, did I? No, that's not affecting it there. Well, you could,
Yes. Select subject and hit the texture. Yeah, that does. It's almost like it's been through a filter or something.
yeah. I don't know. Could have been a color effects. No, I don't know. The feathers just look darker.
Yeah, but it's not normal for a white pelican.
No, and around the face is all smudgy. That's where I was looking, around the eye.
Yeah, the head is all dark in there also.
Okay.
Was any going to the masking tool, and would you have had any did you do any masking work in there, Jeff?
No.
Go into the masking tool once and see what that looked like.
Yeah, but if he does his backslash, Ken, he's starting out with it looking gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, here I just reset everything back to the way it came in. And it's those feathers are definitely grayer compared to the part of the body.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they could have done to the photo to make the
Well,
feathers.
I notice it's a JPEG, so I don't know if
Well, yeah.
they did some work on it and then they converted it to a JPEG to send to you or what?
Oh, well, probably, but still.
Well, Jeff, zoom in on the feathers. I mean, you see detail when you zoom in?
Well, I can't zoom in much because of the file size that we
Okay.
have, so this is zoomed in as much as we can do. I mean, a person could do clarity and texture on the feathers to get a little bit more. You got some texture there,
Yeah.
and this looks sharp. And if you look at his eye, it's sharp.
But the beak doesn't even look sharp.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm Googling white pelicans, and there's a number of photos where some of the pelicans have that same gray tone on the wings. So maybe it's a variant from a particular area or something.
Yeah. I don't know. John, are you there? It's yours, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I didn't do anything to change the.
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
I probably got 100 images like that.
All right.
In fact, as you
So
were talking about it, I was off looking at it. I'm going, I don't remember doing anything. Do the others look like that?
Can pelican chicks start out gray and then turn white as they age?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Be
And
honest,
it's a
I'm not.
rare bird because it's got the breeding hump thing on its beak.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the knots on its bill is during breeding season.
But
Those go away.
yeah. Yeah, but there's a number of pictures of white pelicans that do have gray coloration on the wings. So maybe it's an age thing or just a variant.
It's at the Mississippi, could be dirty water. No.
Yeah. Well, I know I've shot swans that got red heads from the red water up north, but
Yes.
So no, it's. I mean, I could swear that it's gray compared to the body. So, I mean, you look at the body down here. There's nothing you would have done that would have brought this to be darker than that. So,
right.
I'm thinking it's a juvenile, but closer to adult.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's probably it's with the 800 on a, so he's a long way out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I opened up the shadows and darkened the highlights a little bit more, added a little texture and clarity, and here's what you started with. Here's where we got. I mean, it does make them a little sharper.
Yeah, I like that better. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, knowing me, I turned up vibrance as well.
Yeah.
I like green water, right? Yeah, wouldn't be me if I didn't turn up vibrance.
Right. You gotta have color.
Yeah. Okay. Another race car picture. Boy, there isn't much I would do with this. Boy, on a wet track too. I like that. It's a shame not more mist is showing, but
maybe just punch up the color slightly.
Yeah. Do this. maybe, let's see, just blowing out the highlights a bit and might open up the shadows. Let's see. Car looks pretty straight. Looks like it's corner 6.
Yes, it is.
I know where my cars are at Road America.
Yes.
You might try, this filter again. Let's see.
Yeah, I'd never used that, but
This works nice for getting that concrete barrier a little more blurred. Don't want to go too far, but it focuses in now on the car, but see how nicely that barrier back there gets blurred out.
right. Yeah.
It makes a nice difference and doesn't do anything really to the car other than what I did for the highlights and the shadows.
I feel like you're losing kind of some of the fog, which kind of makes some interest in the picture.
Yeah. I'm surprised we don't get a little bit of mist coming off the back of the car.
Yeah. It was
For as wet
starting
as
to
it
dry
was.
out.
Nice shot though.
Thank you.
Yeah, there isn't that much that you really need to do to it. You get your shots pretty good.
Thanks.
Okay, let's keep moving because we got 7 minutes and a lot of photos go. All right. It's an interesting shot. Trying to think. Yeah, the highlights aren't, well, the sun, of course, is blowing out.
How would that look in black and white?
I was just gonna say that, push black and white.
Yeah. I almost think I like black and white better. You're right. Something weird with the color in the grass. But I like the black and white. Wondering if a person did just a little negative clarity to blur the grass out a little more. We brought up and got rid of a little bit of the grass on the bottom and a little bit on the side. Would that be better? I don't know.
I liked it the way it was myself.
I do too.
Yeah.
It seems
More
like you're
wide
losing your
open
sense of
prairie.
space there.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the open expanse, the feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'm open. Just playing around. You like it better though in color or black and white?
I like color.
Okay.
That's just one person.
Yeah. Well,
Jeff, this might be another one of those situations where a linear in the foreground to bring that down the slightest bit. But then if you were upset with the color of that grass, you certainly can work with that too.
yeah. Oh, you're right though, linear to help darken the foreground.
And you're only
Might
doing
be.
a small amount. You really don't want people to see that you've done it. It has to be
Right.
just enough that like something like that, where it's just enough where you say, oh, that's really nice, and your eyes led right into the cows. So that works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when the cows get a little lighter, that's where your eye will go. I mean, my eye goes right to the sun and then to the cows next. So darkening that up does seem to help a little bit more. It's an interesting shot.
What
Cows
would
are
happen if you mirrored the linear gradient and did it on the top too?
You could do that.
My concern would be those clouds are going to get really, really black.
Yeah.
That might be all right, but
I wonder if, yeah.
You know, what's interesting
Yeah.
was the photo as it was, it doesn't show any of the whites blowing out on the
Right.
histogram.
No, it doesn't. And I don't quite get that because it sort of should. Because this should be white with no detail in here, so you'd think the histogram.
I don't know if it's blowing out, Jeff. I think that actually is still okay, but there's would be
Yeah.
no detail because of the sun's brightness, and there is no detail over that part of the sun then.
Interesting. Other than that, I mean, it's an interesting shot. So there isn't much I would really do with it. Maybe, darkening the front. You could see here's the before and the after. I mean, darkening the grass does help a little bit more. To me, the grass looks a little funny in color, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, though.
I like it with the
Yeah.
change. I like it a lot.
How about if we warmed it up a little bit? Since it is sunrise or sunset, does that make a difference to anybody? Okay.
Makes cows look more brown instead of black.
Yeah.
Now,
All
what you
right.
could do, by the way, just for as a trick for anybody who ever gets into this situation, you could use the subject and it should highlight the cows, or you could go in again and highlight them by using object and then turning down the yellow on just them. And that way you'll go back to what their color was originally.
Right. Or just pick the background and then turn that yellow. All right. This one. Got a lot of interesting colors in the hills. I would maybe just up the vibrance a little bit more to get the colors in here, the magentas, all throughout these hills a little bit more. You could, the only thing that I'm not liking when I do that is the greens. So you could go and grab the green and just desaturate that just a bit. And you could, if you wanted, even using this point color setup, grab the magentas and actually up their saturation to make them stand out a little bit more.
I just think the
You
hills
use
need
the
to be a little
dehaze, what
brighter.
would that do to it?
Oh.
What was that? Was that Brian?
Yeah, don't you think the hills need to be a little brighter?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. They could be. I think the whole picture maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I like that better.
Yeah.
You try the
Yeah.
dehaze slider a little bit.
Yeah, I turned it up to
Okay.
43. There's not that much actually haze. You might turn up the clarity a bit. the texture. I like that the magenta part standing out now, and the green isn't quite so crazy. Let's see. So you can see it looked a little dull there, and this has really made it pop a little bit more. I would maybe see if this would help. Now see, adjusting the white so it spread the histogram out, now we could actually darken it. And what it did is it brought in a little more contrast. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that helped.
What happens if you bring down the shadows a little?
About like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice shot. Got a little bit of a leading line with the valleys in here and the rocks popping up. And now the color pops. So here's what you started with, and you can see
Yeah.
what we
Could
came
probably
up with.
crop a little bit of the sky.
Yeah. And maybe even, well, yeah, if we crop down, that maybe does it. Otherwise, too, the other thing would be to do a linear gradient, and you could, yeah, see, now you got me hooked on linear gradients again. But if you do that, you could, do we need to just darken it a little?
Just select the sky.
Yeah, and selecting the sky would do it too. Yeah. No, I don't think color temperature is going to be what it is. Actually, not too bad.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Look out, though, you do have a bunch of dust spots. And I'm not going to clean those up tonight. But there's before and after. Not bad.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Now we're gonna go over, but we're almost done. I think I would crop out that ugly vent. I certainly want to keep the sign in. Let's see.
And maybe fix your building angles.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We go to guided and draw the line up here because that would help. And
Well, the church line and the building line are two different verticals. I think.
I don't like that. Let's try auto and see if that auto might be all right. Let's see. I don't like the crop.
You have to extend down the bottom.
Yeah. Need to get that in because we want the whole sign in. Now, if we do this, how's that for a crop at least?
I would take the top down to the tree line.
Okay. We about there. Now, whites are just a tad blown out. And we could open up the shadows. And let's get it a little grungier. I gotta admit, this would be one that I might go and do this. Silver effect, color effects. Just because I love old cars and everything. Later, I don't need to do that. Okay, so I've opened it up in color effects, and I hate when it does that. I need detail enhancer. That gets you a little more grungier of a look, which I think with the old car, plus it brings out a little bit more of the ice cream part in here.
I think originally the lettering on the sign on the left was darker and more crisp. I think.
That could be, let's see, if we turn off. Well, actually, it does do a little bit to it. So if we leave that on and do
By the way, they do have great ice cream there.
yeah, now I have to go out and get some ice cream. Actually, I don't like that part. So let's delete that. I like it. Actually like it on the whole picture instead of just part of it.
Yeah, should we get rid of the power lines?
I don't have a app for that.
Neo.
Yeah, I don't have Neo. I may have Neo. I don't know. Let's see. Although anybody decides they don't want to stick around while we play, let's see, Luminar Neo. We're here to learn.
On 1/20/25 is coming out this month and they're putting in power line removal.
Yeah, I don't remember if they had anything in here for that.
Yeah, you have to go to edit. Up top.
Yeah, up top. Oh yeah. I don't
And
use
did
this
they-
often enough.
And then erase. Second one down,
Erase. Yeah, second one down.
remove power lines.
Oh, okay. Hey, somebody uses this more than I do.
I just
Elizabeth.
tried it.
Oh,
and
wow, look at
It does
that.
a horrible
Wow.
job on my pictures. It works for everybody else though.
It worked on this one really
I
well.
know.
Isn't that amazing?
Who
That was
needs
pretty
electricity?
fantastic.
That's just blows my mind sometimes. And that does clean up the picture nicely.
It also removed the post for the stop sign.
Yes, and
Oh
now
yeah,
you
it
can click
did.
Restore. Jeff, under erase, click on restore. And just paint in where that was.
Or remove the stop sign.
Yeah, that was my other. So then if you,
Did you click restore? Oh, well. that works
yeah,
too.
I did, but it actually got rid of it, which actually I would probably, I hit erase. So I guess I'd just get rid of the sign anyhow. I like it better without the sign sitting there. Huh. See, I haven't used Neo, so gotta admit, that's not bad. There's a couple of funny glares. See if they'll get rid of that. Yep. Okay, well, we'll hit apply. So far, you started out this way. We ended up to here, which then if we even add more clarity, we'll get it a little grungier if we wanted. I think exposure-wise, we're doing pretty good. I haven't worked this hard on a photo for a while. I'm getting a cramp in my arm. What do you think, everybody? Does that look pretty good?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so you started out with a really good idea, and we just cleaned it up a little bit. And okay, let's skip that one. That's just one of mine. Oh, an interesting aurora. Boy, I haven't got any of them so far. There really isn't much I would do to this, to be honest. It's got good color saturation. Everything looks good.
I think I tried to
And
take out the person in the bottom right. Is that a person?
is there a person
A
there?
dark
Or-
shadow there.
I see the shadow.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, I guess my brother's there.
Ah. So what if we did that?
There you go.
Yeah, that looks a little better. But I like that the stars are showing up. You got a little bit of nice, interesting clouds. Got good color. It's a little noisy. You could run it through a denoise thing. Other than that, but the trouble is, if you run through denoise, you might lose the stars. So that would be a problem. But I think it's neat. I haven't been able to catch any of the auroras. They've been happening too late at night. I better keep moving. I just was going to show this. This was from our digital forum guy that we had a month ago. And this was a shot where I took and flopped it to get four corners. This was actually a sunflower. And by multiplying and flipping it 4 different times to fill up the frame, I got this interesting pattern out of it. So someday I'll run a demo on what I'm doing to get stuff like this, but it really gets a nice set of even patterns and is something a little different. I got it from that one fill I think that we had at Digital Forum.
Oh, I like it, Jeff.
Jeff, how would you crop this? Where's the story? That's my biggest problem with this.
Boy,
Too many stories.
I
It's too
guess
busy.
yeah, it's the angle. I think it'd be better. I mean, I don't think you could be. I would probably go with the car. See, I don't like that pipe. Don't need the official.
you hold your L key down, lights out, then you can really play with it. Keep
That
your hand
crop,
on the L key and then do the cropping.
yeah. That works a little better that way. It shows, I think the main story is the repairing of the car. So you've got the cowling the tires off, the people working on it. So yeah, it's a tough one.
I like your idea about the way you crop. I've been restricting myself to sizes more than
Oh,
I
okay.
should, and I should work on the picture. So
Yeah,
I'm going to work on that.
I found, yeah, I just, because I could do mats and that any size I wanted to, that freed me from having to worry about a crop size. And this way, you know, you're cropping for what works for the picture, not for a set size. So I've never worried about that. Yeah. But this would be about the closest you might get. You could do color effects and detail enhancer, which would get it a grittier look and more detail in the car and in the tires.
That's okay. You can move on if you want to continue
Yeah.
somebody else's, but thank
I
you.
don't know if yeah, and then I have another one of mine where I did that flop again with some flowers and that, and did some plugins. Someday we'll talk about that. This one here, it looks interesting. That was Renaissance Fair at Old Falls Village. I would certainly be cropping because the one hard part at Renaissance Village is that your backgrounds are really hard. They're bright, and there's not much you could do about it. But if you crop down like this, I think that helps a little bit, gets rid of some of the brightness. And then if you, I think, select the background, yeah, that works. You could darken it, not that it's going to darken, but if you get the tree a little darker.
Well, try to brighten it. Go the other way.
Well, you could. You want to?
Yeah, that's too far, but.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like it lighter. I could see going darker.
Yeah.
And then,
You could blur it.
yeah, I would throw clarity to a minus to soften the tree off even more. Now you might want to just go while you're in here with the mask, duplicate and invert, and you could give him a little texture and clarity while I'm near, but then brighten him up a little separate. Not too much. Actually, probably just his shadows. Drop the highlights. I tell you, I think I did too much in the clarity and texture for him. And actually, yeah. Actually, a little bit of minus clarity seems to help with him.
Sure.
No. And then the other thing you could try doing is the lens blur to blur out the background even more. So here's after and there's before. That darkening, it makes him stand out a little better, and then the bright isn't quite so bright.
The tree looks so phony though.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it would be one where what I'd probably do is replace the background with something better.
I
And
knew you
we're
were
not
gonna say that.
yeah. I gotta admit that's probably the one problem with Old Falls Village is finding a good spot to do portraits like this where you don't have a bright background. And this is sort of the same thing here. It's the same problem.
I don't mind the bright background there. I really don't.
Yeah.
That's my personal taste.
Not that I don't like Jim in the background, but I think I
Oh,
would.
okay, sure. Jim with his 4 cameras.
Yeah. And maybe just bring it up here.
How would this look in black and white?
Yeah, that might not be too bad. Let me I can see once. Wouldn't be that bad to me.
Yeah, darken it more though. Get more contrast on it.
Yeah. I don't know, dark is
They don't want to darken the woman though.
I add the contrast and that helps, and then add some texture. Geez, I missed all this stuff.
Yeah. And maybe can use a really heavy vignette to kind of hide the person in the background.
Yeah. Jim's camera and lens. All right. We could either do a darker vignette, or you could go brighter, which would match the background a little bit. The only thing that's driving me nuts is this guy right here. Why would it pick that spot? Pick up here. Oh, that doesn't work. All right, what about the healing one? No, let's go one step further.
That might not work because you crop.
You got Santa Claus.
I usually turn that off and turn object aware on, and I get better results.
Well, actually, no, that I could live with. The original one I didn't like. Object aware, let's see what happens. I actually sort of like that one.
Turn off the generative AI.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, wait, I gotta click on it because it lost it. No. Okay, let's try this. Because I just don't like, this guy just doesn't match the scene.
Yeah. If you leave
So-
even a little tiny piece of the guy, they'll build another person on there. But if you get all of them in, then usually it'll get rid of the person.
Okay, let's try it.
Nope.
Some days it just doesn't work the way you expect. I actually think the generative AI worked the best because it actually got something that could be usable. I probably won't get it this time. Now what did it create?
What is that, a hawk or a vulture?
Yeah. Jeez. See, you just never know what you're going to get.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Goodness.
Just need something that's not. Can't quite tell what that is. Isn't it funny? I wonder if.
Okay.
Yeah, go back to that middle one on on that last set that you did.
Gotta go farther backwards.
Because sometimes you can have it remove the thing that it just
Here we
put
go.
in there, and it's easier to remove.
That guy I could live with. That one I don't like too much. That guy actually does. I mean, at least it's not.
He's in character.
Yeah, it's more of a character than the guy with a funny T-shirt. So that's a little better. And I mean, you could just. There's a lot of different ways to get rid of them that you could do, but that's a little better at least. But we're getting late, and
It's pretty good overall.
but yeah, I wish I would have gotten out to see some of this. It looked like it's fun. We're going to do it for 2 weekends next year. So,
Oh, cool.
Well, that's it. That's all of them. I just skipped over a couple of mine. So, great. So that's it. We can call it a night if Linnea wants to call it a night.
I think it would be great. Jeff, this was really incredible. I learned so much watching you work on these. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
Sort of fun.
Yeah. Well, everybody will see you, if not on the 8th, but definitely at next month's meeting, unless anybody wants to get for a photo shoot somewhere. So have a good night, all.
Right.
Good night.
Night.
Night.